of guns and bullets and AI tools. Recently, I heard of the concept that people can be divided into two groups, either guns or bullets. Now, before we go any further, work with me here on this, people. Not my analogy. I heard it from someone else. I thought it was worth sharing. Let me know what you think of the following ideas. Guns are people who have the ideas. They're the strategic types who come up with the idea in the first place, like the spark, as it were. Now, bullets are the folks who actually do the work. They're very much task orientated. Of course, the world needs both types, but the world is changing. So neither group is worth anything, I think it's fair to say, without the other one. After all, a gun with no bullets is simply a paperweight. Bullets are just bits of lead without the gun. Traditionally, the ratio of guns and bullets was far higher for bullets than it was for guns, right? This is pretty obviously true, and it obviously varies enormously. My own experience is that one strategy person can easily create enough work for and things to do for 20 people, but it could be 2,000 people. Think about how a car designer might give thousands of people other things to do. But the reverse is not true. Yeah, bullets on their own, not that much use. Guns on their own aren't much use, but there's no point in having 10 people come up with strategy and only 3 people who actually fulfill it. Nothing's going to happen. As you may have noticed, AI has become a pretty big deal as of late. Just look at your LinkedIn feed, with possibly the biggest hype cycle in history attached. Think of the trillions of dollars worth of valuations that all these companies have come up with. However, there's a problem. AI tools are of actually little use to, they're incredible tools for guns, but they're not much use for bullets. If you're a doer, how can AI actually help you? They can certainly automate some of your work, but most people who are bullets or doers don't have the kind of mind that allows them to go away and think about how to automate their job. They don't really think about it in those terms. In fact, let's be honest, most people don't. But those gun types who do understand the power of AI tools, now they are in the catbird seat, because from research to creation to automated distribution to analytics, now these folks are off to the races. They can think of an idea and automate the process of actually implementing it. In other words, be the gun and the bullet super effectively and very quickly. In fact, they can achieve things they never could before, because guns, as we've already said, are useless without people who actually do the work. So this is going to create both opportunities and problems. Small teams or even individuals can create amounts of materials at an insane rate with insanely fast turnaround times. After all, they come up with an idea, they shove it into their workflow, the AI technology creates it in minutes, not weeks, and you're going to win. So what could have been done in weeks or months now takes minutes or hours. The opportunity for an individual to outthink and outproduce a big team is huge. The big, well-resourced team will be slower, cost more, and probably be more attached to the status quo. After all, they've always done it in a certain way. It's going to make those people less creative and more conservative. Now, bigger teams might be better off breaking into smaller groups to be able to compete, and maybe compete internally to come up with the best ideas. But the bigger problem's going to be for the bullet people. So if your role is to write copy or liaise with a creative agency or manipulate data or create presentations or curate social media or 1,000 other roles that require you to take someone else's thinking, process it in some way or other, and then move it somewhere else, you're going to be in trouble. This is not only going to be a problem for the bullets, it's also going to be a problem for those gun types, the thinkers, who actually don't work out how to automate their lives. It's also going to be a massive problem for the AI vendors. If your business model is predicated on the notion that everyone in a company needs your solution, then you got your maths wrong here. The guns all use it, but they're only a small part of the total environment. So some of the bullets will transition to be builders of these workflows. That will be a very useful skill. But however you cut it, not everyone is going to need access to these fancy and expensive tools. I believe the idea of every business buying AI licenses for every employee is frankly nonsensical. 90% of the folks who were bullets will need tools like spelling and grammar checkers or workflows that help them book travel, create invoices, and a thousand other tasks. But these people aren't going to need the sort of high-end tools that specialists are going to need. So there will be, I think, a huge increase in the concept of agents, and many of the AI people are already talking about those. These are specific applications that don't need programming, but do effectively become an assistant to everyone. You're certainly going to need less bullets or doers in such a world, and the doers you do have will be more effective. But what it will mean is that not everyone in the organization is going to need these high-end tools. Pieces of AI designed specifically to help humans do specific tasks, those will be useful and it will be huge. But it'll also be cheap because no one's going to be able to justify having a tool that helps you book your travel, for example, more effectively. No one's paying $1,000 a year for such a tool. And the expensive models will be of use and clients will pay good money for these flexible tools, but only for a small subset of the total. So today's AI hype cycle seems to believe everyone will need these super tools. But to use a way of thinking from an earlier age, if you want to write a letter, you can use Word. If you want to write an ERP system, you're going to need C++. Not everyone in the world is going to need the AI equivalent of C++, and the skill set of cost for each is going to be enormously different.